starts now.
Welcome into First Alert Weather Extra. Chief Meteorologist Wes Wyatt. Let's get to our First Alert weather headlines. Later on tonight, possibility of a few scattered showers making a return. That's going to be mostly after midnight tonight. And then we'll have a chance for some pop-up showers on Wednesday during the afternoon. And more scattered showers, possibly a storm on Thursday. So again, late tonight, maybe a little bit of rain. I think most of the day tomorrow is going to turn out rather nice. It's going to be another nice day. We saw a lot of 80s today, highs tomorrow in the 70s, more of a north wind. Scattered showers again on Wednesday possible, but not an all-day washout. Thursday, however, kind of an interesting day. We could start off rather chilly, see a brief cool down, and then start to warm up again as we have a surge of warmer air and moisture ahead of that system. See, Friday, we've got that chance of rain 12 a.m. to 12 p.m. So bottom line here, a bit more unsettled as we get into the end of the week. But what a day across the state of Alabama. Beautiful glow out there. How about that sky? Wow, look at the camera capturing some of those purples there, looking back to the east direction this evening. 73 degrees, but some incredible weather across Alabama today. I don't know if you noticed this, however, it was a very dry day, and I was visiting Tuscaloosa. I went down to the EOC office today. I was on 459, and I noticed that the fire department was actually trying to control. There looked like a grass fire that broke out there along Interstate 459 close to the Hoover exit. However, that dryness was in the air today, and I think a lot of that has to do with the system that we saw last week that brought the incredible winds across the state. It's just like having a hair dryer on everything. It didn't take long for everything to dry out. That wind really increasing those evaporation rates across the state. So kind of crispy at the moment, believe it or not, even after all the rain that we've had. However, we will see a bit more humidity out there for tonight. Typical at night, relative humidity starts to go up, and we could see a couple of isolated showers here later on tonight. This is what we've been tracking today. You can see a little bit of rain here. This is south of Greenville. If you know where Bates House of Turkey is, if you ever stopped in there south of Montgomery on your way to the beach, this is just south of there, Georgiana, and back in towards Andalusia. Our friends here dealing with a little bit of rain, but that's staying well south of us. This is what we could see tonight, something very isolated like this a bit further north. So we are factoring in a chance for a few isolated showers in the short term. We are in good shape, though. Very dry here. You can see 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock, those temperatures there close to 70 degrees, winds southwest at 5 to 10 miles per hour. But coming up here on Weather Extra, we will talk a lot more about those higher rain chances that we see coming for Wednesday. Also Thursday, that chance for scattered showers and storms. And the last week on Standard Time, we'll talk about the time change and more on the tree pollen that's everywhere right now. We'll have an update on that forecast and the possibility of colder air next week as we continue right here on First Alert Weather Extra.
We know weather can be grab the umbrella or jogging shoes, but it's so much more. It's a science, an art, led by knowledge and experience.
And no one has more of that than a WBRC First Alert weather team.
Warning you first with more hours committed to you. And the first forecast built to see weeks, days, and even minutes ahead, right down to where you live. From the team you trust on your favorite screen.
Doing the weather better. The WBRC First Alert weather team, always on your side.
Some people may think you're overreacting. Some may ask, is there a storm coming? That's okay, because knowing the first alert has helped you beat the rush. Being prepared puts you in control and changes the what if to you're okay. Knowing first is everything. First Alert Weather.
If you have plans for this weekend, we have a first alert for a wintry mix.
When you need to know next week, tomorrow, or even right now, the WBRC First Alert Weather Team is always on your side, whenever and wherever you need us. This is why we First Alert.
Welcome back to First Alert Weather Extra. I'm meteorologist Lauren Linehan. Several communities across the state are still cleaning up after severe weather on Friday. That includes Talladega, where one man was killed. According to the coroner, the man was in his truck when a tree fell on top of it. The county EMA director reported no other injuries in the area. Statewide, 3 people were killed by falling trees from strong wind gusts on Friday. There was also debris that needed to be cleaned up in downtown Birmingham. Strong winds were blamed for this mess. Debris fell on cars and shattered windows, as you can see. Nobody was hurt, though. The owner of the building told WBRC that it was inspected about a year ago and no structural damage was found. This year's Jubilee event in Selma almost didn't happen because of that tornado that tore through central Alabama on January 12th. Representative Terry Sewell says that cleanup that's happened since then is just another sign of the resiliency Selma has shown time and time again. And speaking of storms, FEMA is helping remove debris from private property after the January 12th tornado that hit Greene County. Utah, in those areas, the town leaders say FEMA has agreed to do this in very limited circumstances.
We've only identified about 4 areas that have debris on private property that's public safety significant. You know, your backyard is not public safety significant, but right-of-ways, power lines on your house causing ponding of water is public safety.
Corey Martin says his street crews have already picked up about 70% of the debris left from the January 12th tornado. Meanwhile, 2 people in our area had to be rescued over the weekend after their canoe capsized. It happened on the Cahaba River in Bibb County on Saturday. Multiple rescue agencies responded to the scene. These pictures from Briarfield volunteer fire and rescue officials say the 2 people were cold but not hurt. First responders say a local citizen with a hovercraft is also to thank for helping with the rescue. Now to some dramatic video into the newsroom showing a dangerous rescue just south of Mobile. You can see the boat struggling in rough waters. The 40-foot vessel was taking on water just 70 miles south of Mobile. The Coast Guard in Mobile coordinated an air crew to arrive on scene and rescue the boater. He was taken to New Orleans, where we learned he was in stable condition. Of Transportation removed just over 1.6 million liquid gallons of snow in the Twin Peaks area. While officials say some progress has been made with clearing roads and plowing snow, some residents are still snowed in. Some people say they've been trapped for more than a week. The National Weather Service reports the Sierra Nevada mountain range could get up to an additional 3 feet of snow through tomorrow. Certainly something you don't see every day in California, even in the mountains. But here at home in Alabama, certainly been a little warmer than average lately. And we know it's March. That means daylight saving time is just around the corner. We check in with meteorologist Matt Daniel and Mickey Ferguson for an update.
Hey, let's get going here with a look at one of our photos sent in. We had some great sunrise views this morning.
We did. If you were watching Good Day, we were showing a lot of them around Sumter, Birmingham, everywhere. And,
Who's this from?
This is from Bob Everett.
Bob Everett from Weiss Lake, Alabama. And you know what Bob is backwards?
It's Bob.
Yep, that's what it is. So thank you, Bob. And I appreciate you sending that in. That looks nice.
It is really nice. And, of course, if you got some photos, feel free to submit them through the First Alert Weather app. Of course,
they don't have to be named Bob, do they?
No.
Okay, anybody.
Anybody.
Yeah. Anybody.
We love every photo.
Yeah.
So make sure you send those photos in. Of course, this weekend was beautiful.
Yes.
And, you know, I've got some spring fever.
Yeah, I do.
Let's do some
But
countdowns,
you know,
shall we?
countdown to daylight savings time is this weekend now, so set your clocks forward 1 hour before you go to bed. Of course, the smart, clocks and phones, they do that. But if you have a dumb phone, you're going to have to set it forward 1 hour before you go to bed. Yeah.
Now I know.
And now 14 days until spring.
Yep, that's Monday, March 20th, and 33 days until Easter, April 9th.
Yeah, look at old Peter Cottontail there. He's excited.
All right, are you excited about daylight saving time?
Ooh-wee! Not really.
Okay,
'Cause
why is that?
I like it to be dark when I go to bed.
Yeah.
And it'll be light now. but that's just me being selfish.
Yeah, I agree. It's kind of weird. If you take a nap and then you wake up and it's still daylight at 7 o'clock, you're
And
like,
you
uh-oh,
lose your mind. You
I
think-
overslept.
Yeah.
That's a morning person issue, but for a lot of people, and I don't blame them, it's nice to still have some sunlight or daylight in the evening hours, heading out for dinner or something.
right.
But yeah, Sunday we spring forward. Sunrise will be at 7:01, so a little later, but then sunset also later at 6:52.
Yeah, I think there's a bill before the U.S. Congress to make this daylight saving time all the time.
We'll see what happens with
Yeah,
that.
I'm sorry.
All right, let's talk about some events. Speaking of some spring,
Got some baseball.
Some
Alabama is
baseball.
taking on the Sanford Bulldogs. This is Tuesday at 6 p.m. Tomorrow to you and me. And it looks like it's going to be pretty nice weather-wise.
yeah, it won't be too bad. You know, we have a little small rain chance perhaps tomorrow morning, but I think for that game tomorrow, looking pretty good. Temperatures in the 70s, cooling down to the 60s, so maybe just a light jacket. So it looks good. What about this game, Mickey?
Well, buddy, UAB is taking on Auburn. We got some big games going on. This is tomorrow at 6 p.m. This is at Plainsman's Park. So enjoy.
Yeah, in Auburn, that's looking good. Looks like for the first pitch, right around 73 degrees.
I take it that's down in Auburn.
It is in Auburn.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's looking good.
Not so good for Auburn versus Jacksonville State, Matt.
That's right. They're traveling to Jacksonville State Wednesday at 6 p.m. and we have to look at the chance for some showers across the area. I don't know if those temperatures are going to be that cool, but some of the models are hinting at some 50s across the area, so we'll have to see what happens with that particular game as we get a little bit closer to that. But yeah, it looks like the second half of this week looking wet, so make sure you grab the rain gear and, of course, monitor the WBRC First Alert weather app.
Georgia Bulldogs supposed to have a good baseball team this year? You don't know?
I don't know.
Yeah, okay. Good
That's
for
what
me.
they'll have to play, and you'll find out.
Okay, sounds good. I think we're done here.
That's it.
Okay.
Thanks for that, as always, Matt and Mickey. Coming up next, we check in with Chief Meteorologist Wes Wyatt for a look at that super 7-day forecast and the potential for more rain in the days ahead. And then I'll take you beyond the 7-day to let you know if winter is going to return with a vengeance. First Alert Weather Extra. We'll be right back.
West Shore Home is making shower and bath remodeling easy and more affordable for everyone. Hey everybody, I'm joined by Kirsten Page from West Shore to find out exactly how they're making that happen. Kirsten.
So Joe, we've been able to give homeowners, over 165,000 of them, the shower and bath of their dreams by making it a fast, easy, and convenient experience. But now we're making it even more affordable to start your project without breaking the bank.
Now Kirsten, when someone starts a remodeling project, costs can be a real concern. So how are you making it more affordable to start that project right now?
So instead of me telling you, why don't I show you? This homeowner was having some problems with their old shower. They called us, we stopped out, and we completely removed the old bathtub and replaced it with a walk-in shower in just one day. The best part? We can do a job like this for as low as $99 a month.
$99 a month, that's incredible.
It really is. We understand that budgets can be a little tighter this time of the year, so we want to make it easier for folks to get their projects started right now. So let's go ahead and look at another project we recently did. This homeowner was so excited to get rid of their old bathtub because they were getting an easy, low-step shower. You can see here we took out that old bathtub and removed everything down to the studs. Then we installed new walls and fixtures. By dinner time, this homeowner had their brand new shower, and the best part, they didn't need to worry about paying for their entire project up front. They were able to break it down into low monthly payments.
That project looks amazing. And the low monthly payments is going to make getting that project started so much easier. Kirsten, thanks so much. Folks, West Shore Home is making shower and bath remodeling fast and convenient. And you heard Kirsten, now they're making it more affordable too with their easy, low monthly payments. Call the number on your screen right now to start your project. And when you do, take advantage of this great offer. Call in now to get your new shower for as little as $99 a month. On top of that, they're doing free installation on all shower and bath projects. Don't delay. Call the experts at West Shore Home now.
Welcome back to First Alert Weather Extra, and how about a live look from Centerville, Alabama? And today we had some incredible weather out there, a lot of 80s on the map. It's still showing 73 there, as you can see in Centerville at this time, and the dew point is showing up there at 60, but it was kind of dry out there today, especially early on. Once that we had some gusty winds over the start of the weekend, and I think that was a factor. It didn't take long for us to dry out. 64 Coleman. in 74 now for Anniston, but you get the picture. It's a very comfortable night out there, but it is going to be a bit chilly later on. We'll have some 50s showing up on the map. And notice the model data still wants to bring in a little bit of isolated shower activity, but look at the time on this. I mean, 2, 3 in the morning. So if you have anything outdoors that you need to keep dry, maybe some building materials, maybe want to make sure everything's covered up, because later on tonight there could be a little bit of rain that's going to be moving through. Otherwise, the forecast looks pretty good through tomorrow, but a little bit cooler. Notice lunchtime 70s, afternoon we're seeing a lot of 70s, so not as many 80s there on the map. Not a major change, but actually it's going to feel even nicer with those temperatures out there, and there will be some sun in the mix for tomorrow. But then we could see more showers happening on Wednesday. Notice here the chance for some rain. This is all going to be riding in along a warm front. There's a chance, though, there's a wedge of cooler air back to the northeast of us. And there's some indications some of that cooler air Wednesday night and into Thursday could move in from the north there. Maybe we could see a bit of a chill there on Thursday, maybe close to 60 degrees. Some areas not getting above 60 degrees there for afternoon highs. However, we're kind of in the battleground here. We're going to have a warm front that moves back to the north, and what that will do is bring another rise in those temperatures, and it's going to feel a bit milder there going into the overnight. And then notice by Friday morning, well, it all moves south again as a cold front, and that's when we have an increasing chance for rain, possibly a few storms. But at this point, not seeing a major risk of any severe weather, nothing too organized. We'll keep a watch on it. This system has certainly sped up a bit. It was looking like Saturday we might have some rain, but it looks like we get this out of here just in time to enjoy some dry weather for Friday night, end of the day on Saturday. And then as daylight saving time returns on Sunday, notice as we spring ahead, we do have the chance of rain returning, and we also have the first alert there for another chance of showers, perhaps a storm for late Sunday, and then we'll see that system moving out going into Monday of next week. But at this point, it does look like at least part of the weekend there, Sunday, we could have some wet weather back in the forecast. But another thing that we're watching in the long range next week, possibility of some cooler temperatures, but at this point we're not seeing the deep freeze. I mean, a very typical cool snap on the way. I want to go to meteorologist Lauren Linehan. And Lauren, you and I were talking about this. You know, this is part of springtime. I see a lot of posts out there about, you know, another blast of cold weather's coming, but that winter kind of cold that we deal with in Alabama, I mean, we're not talking teens or freezing precipitation here.
Yeah, Wes, it's not every winter that we're going to get March of '93, right? It was not every winter a blizzard's just going to come rolling down the street. That's pretty anomalous. But what we do tend to see as we transition from winter to spring are those brief little cold snaps. They can happen for a couple days, and then the warm air winds back out again. So that's likely what we could see happening beyond the 7-day is another opportunity for that. So what I'm showing you here is from the Storm Prediction Center, or actually from the Climate Prediction Center, 6 to 10 days from now, what the temperature outlook looks like across the U.S. You can see across the desert Southwest into Texas, potentially above average temperatures in place, but a good portion of the U.S. could be seeing below average temperatures. And yes, that does include us here in central Alabama. So it's not necessarily going to be like when we started the winter and we saw that ridiculously cold Arctic blast that had some record-breaking temperatures. Nothing like that, but we've been in a pretty warm pattern recently, and so it's not out of the question that we could see a little dip here, some fronts coming through that could bring us, if not a widespread hard freeze, could be bringing some frost. That's why we always try to hold off on planting until about mid-April. Typically, anytime after Good Friday seems to be the way to go. So we're certainly going to keep an eye on things for you. But as we look at the potential high temperatures in the days ahead, as we go into this weekend, still looking fairly mild. But then we see that little dip going into the middle of next week. So today, a lot of us had highs in the 80s. So if we think about, okay, maybe going into this time next week or beyond the 7-day, maybe highs would be in the 50s instead. So that could be about a 25-30 degree drop from what we're seeing right now. But again, it doesn't necessarily stay that way. As we look at the trends going into late next week, going into what month is it? It's March. St. Patrick's Day. That's it. So as we go into St. Patrick's Day weekend, that's when we could be seeing temperatures getting more seasonable, closer to average again. But what you see going into the spring months, these little dips where you get that cool air coming back briefly, but it doesn't necessarily stay that way. It just never really happens that way down here in the south. But what you want to focus on when we do see these cool outbreaks of air, and however short they may be, check it out as we go into the middle of next week, maybe a Wednesday, Friday time frame. Yes, Friday is St. Patrick's Day, getting our holidays right. So Wednesday through Friday of next week, that's when we could be dealing with the potential, if not for a light freeze, for some frost in some spots. So we want to go ahead and give you that first alert beyond the 7-day. Pay attention to late next week, because that's when we could be seeing that cool down before we get back to normal going into next weekend. Now, what about rain chances? Because of course you think, oh, if we're going to get real cold, what if there's moisture around? Could it be blizzard of 93? Again, that just doesn't happen all the time. That was a very rare event. So you're not going to see that every time you transition from winter to spring, but you are going to be seeing the potential for above average precipitation. That could just be in the way of rain and storms. Doesn't look overly impressive, but 8 to 14 days from now, that's what some of our models are suggesting. So let's just get a little sneak peek here at our American model, showing us any potential storm tracks that could come through and the flow in the middle level of the atmosphere, getting an idea of how the jet stream is going to be moving. So here we go next Wednesday, March 15th, showing us fairly dry, seeing some fairly seasonable temperatures once we get into that midweek time frame. But it's once we get later into that week, could we see anything in the way of something of a cool down? Well, this is showing March 17th on Friday, showing potentially a disturbance moving through that could be bringing some rain going into the weekend after St. Patrick's Day. So I'm not necessarily seeing anything in the way of a severe weather threat just yet. That's something we also have to watch, but maybe seeing some rain and storms around the weekend after St. Patrick's Day, and then showing an area of low pressure that could be bringing some rain and storms going into that first couple of days after St. Patrick's Day weekend. So certainly something we're going to be keeping an eye on here beyond the 7-day. In the meantime, coming up, I'll take a final look at that 7-day forecast with you. And unfortunately, we're also going to look at that pollen forecast. We'll be right back.
We heard the first alert. Mom says we have to go. She says I don't have time to grab any more toys. We have to get to our safe place, because sometimes when you hear the siren, it's too late. That's why she says knowing first is everything.
We know weather can be grab the umbrella or jogging shoes, but it's so much more. It's a science, an art, led by knowledge and experience.
And no one has more of that than a WBRC First Alert weather team.
Warning you first with more hours committed to you. And the first forecast built to see weeks, days, and even minutes ahead, right down to where you live. From the team you trust on your favorite screen.
Doing the weather better. The WBRC First Alert weather team, always on your side.
The first alert is more than a warning. It's a promise. A promise to get you out of harm's way with plenty of time to spare. 4 walls and a roof can be replaced. Lives can't. That's why knowing first is everything. First Alert weather.
Welcome back to First Alert Weather Extra. Meteorologist Lauren Lenahan. Unless you've been living under a rock, you've probably noticed the yellow dust outside. Our foulest enemy, pollen, is back, unfortunately. So especially this time of the year when you're going from late winter into early spring, the most notorious pollen is going to be that tree pollen. So if you're a little bit more sensitive to the trees. You got to make sure if you're an allergy sufferer that you're taking whatever pill you got to take. I take Allegra personally. Got to do what you got to do for yourself. And then also the nasal spray, nasal rinse, because this stuff is not playing around. And probably need to take a trip to the car wash. Tomorrow would be a good day to do it. Still going to be fairly dry apart from some isolated showers. Then we'll get a little natural car wash as we go throughout the week with some off and on scattered showers. But otherwise, the main pollen that's going to be problematic is that tree pollen for sure. So as we look at that 7-day forecast, just some isolated showers possible tomorrow. Still going to be warm, but then weather turning unsettled by the middle of the week. So we're talking some off and on scattered showers, maybe a few rumbles of thunder Wednesday through Friday, with temperatures holding on in the 60s. And then as we get into next weekend, that's when, daylight saving time coming on in. Now, the good thing about daylight saving time, as Matt and Mickey were saying, hey, you get that little extra hour of sunlight. Unless you work the graveyard shift like they do, then you don't like that so much. But most of us enjoy getting that little extra vitamin D later in the day. Problem is, we lose an hour of sleep on Sunday. And if you like your naps on Sunday, like some of us do, that could be a problem. So we want to give you the first alert for losing that hour of sleep. Now Saturday, hey, it's going to be a beautiful day with a mix of sun and clouds, but Sunday's when we're going to watch for some storms before we get into next week and see that potential beyond the 7-day for a cool down, which is nothing unusual, happens every spring. In the meantime, you can check back in with Chief Meteorologist Wes Wyatt on First at 9 tonight for an update on this week's rain chances. And hey, join us here on Weather Extra every Monday through Friday on your favorite streaming platform at 6:30. I'm meteorologist Lauren Linehan. Obviously time for a dinner break. Have a great and happy Monday evening.